1972. The Oakland Athletics won their first of 3 consecutive World Series. Sandy Koufax was named to the Baseball Hall of Fame. The longest running #1 song was American Pie. The most popular TV show was All in the Family. And the Waterloo High School Baseball team had a perfect 18-0 season and won the Finger Lakes League and Section 5 championships. In those years, or in that year, in that perfect 14-0 league season and 18-0 overall, they shut out their opponents 8 times. 3 players hit over 400. Don Northrup's 463, Pat Dunley's 458, and Joe French's 412. Northrop set the school record that was held until Scott Bartuca broke it in 1989. The closest win was 1-0 in 9 innings over Marcus Whitman and 2-1 over second place Geneva. They took their 3rd consecutive trip to the section finals, having lost the year before 2-1, and in Joe's case, having been on all those teams that went to the finals, 3-2 in 1970. They won Waterloo's 2nd league title in 3 years, and it was the Indians' 3rd Section 5 championship at the time. They've won 5 more since. Pitcher Larry Weintuck and Dan Ellison were both undefeated, obviously, and had earned run averages under 1.00. Both would go on to pitch in college. Joe French was on, again, the varsity baseball team 69, 70, 71, and 72. He's currently the softball coach at UMBC. He led that team in RBIs with 24. The team consisted of seniors: Joe, Don, Larry Weintuck, Bob Cox, Tom Cook, and Dave Dupre. Juniors: Pat Dunley, Dave Byford, Dan Ellison, Dave Higdon, Keith Kabasic, Mike Nadeau, Jim White. Sophomores: Rick Amadon and Nick French. Manager: Bill O'Neill. And the inaugural Bill Golinsky idea, Batgirls: Rose Marabit, Holly Clary. The Batgirls went on for until Bill gave up the job in 1975. And I don't know if Tom ever had Batgirls when he took over. But in 1980, when I did, we brought them back for about 6 or 7 years. Until then, the school district didn't like you to do that stuff anymore. So we got that out of it. Bill Golinsky was in his 6th year as the head coach of his 9-year career. Bill, having finished with 103 wins and 59 losses, and was elected into this Hall of Fame and the 4th Hall of Fame. This was his only sectional title to go with 3 league titles. The JV coach was Tom Benetti. The junior high coach was Jim Anderson. The victories in the sectionals were over Wayne, and that stat we really don't have. We believe the score was 5-0. 3-0 over Bath in the semis, and 7-2 in the finals over Churchville Chi-Light. That game, the Indians scored 5 runs on the top of the 1st inning, chasing out a prominent Churchville pitcher. Big hits included Dan Ellison's 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and home run in that game. Several of these players went on to play college baseball at Alfred, Monroe, Broome Tech, Houghton, Brockport, and the University of Notre Dame. We are here to honor the entire team for their perfect season, and we're going to do that in the following way. We have plaques to give them, and I will read the plaques, and to present the plaques is Bill Golinsky's wife, Carol Golinsky, from near Orlando, Florida. If she would come up to the podium, along with JV coach Tom Benetti.
Just keep going that way. This is really an honor for me to do this, I'll tell you, even though I can't read names. So somebody better read your names.
We're all set. Here we go. Starting off with Tom Cook.
This is like a whole...
Next up, Bob Cox. Dave Dupre. Dan Ellison. Joe French. Nick French. On behalf of the late Dave Higdon, Lori Higdon. Mike Nadeau. Don Northrop. Golden Arm. Larry Wontuck. Holly Clary Bailey.
There you go, Helen Bailey.
Rose Barabit French. And Carol, to take back home with you, here's one with Bill's picture on it off this, and again, for Coach Bill Lansky. Thank you, and to speak on behalf of the team, Joe French. Team members afterwards. I do have up here your box scores from 1972 and also an Excel spreadsheet of everybody's name and address and phone number and the emails that we have for you. So make sure you get one of these.
First of all, I don't ever like correcting Joe, but he did make one little mistake there. Danny Ellison was a sophomore on that, and Ricky Amadon was the junior. First of all, I would like to give special thanks on behalf of my teammates here to the committee for thinking of us, because it was a very special group of guys. And I'd also like to congratulate tonight's other inductees. And I happen to have sometimes the misfortune of coaching against Corinne when I was at Geneseo, because she did knock the 3 down. But congratulations. And of course, Christina played for me for 2 years. And that was a great 2 years. The year she left, I didn't have a catcher. So that was not that good of a year. Okay. But all things considered, you know, I really think it's a special group of guys that went through. And I'm going to give you a couple of stories on how I really think this team developed. But first of all, I'd like to thank all our coaches over there. And I'm going to speak for the guys. I think we played for almost every one of you in one sport or another. And myself, I just finished my 37th year in college athletics, and I know they were a big influence on me. The next story that I think really leads up to what this team was all about was our junior year. We went to the sectionals and we lost in the finals. And when the season was over, and we were pretty good that year. We were pretty good. But we just weren't there all the way. And for me, as Joe said, that was the second straight time or third straight time that we lost in the finals. And so it was getting there. But that summer, Coach Galinsky, who I had the great fortune of playing 4 years for, he and Disman Freddie had got together when American Legion ball started. And I really think the ground setting was when Diz and Coach Galinsky got together talking after our junior high school season. And there was some little changes within the team. And one of the big ones was, I'd always played with a great center fielder. We had Bobby Disbury. And then when he was gone, okay, they had the idea and foresight to move Bobby Cox to center field. And when Bobby was moved to center field, our junior year, Bobby was at short, Pat Dunley was at third, Donnie Northrop was at second, and I was at first. So when we made the change the following year, Coxie went to center, okay, and then Pat Dunley moved from third to short, Donnie moved from second to third, and my brother Nick came in at second, and that really took off. Yeah, that took off too. But what it did was, it made our pitchers better. We had a great pitching staff. You know, Larry was 12-0, Danny was 6-0, and what they did when we tightened up the defense is we became one of those really good pitching, good hitting, good fielding teams. And I really think getting to 18-0, it started the summer before. And if you look at all the guys that are sitting here, okay, I know it started even before then. A lot of them went back. We all started through Little League, all the way up through our youth coaches. A couple of the other inductees mentioned how we had coaching right on through. Our parents took us down to the ball fields for extra practice. I know my dad, Mr. Disbury, Mr. Northrop, I mean, just to name a few, would be there, and we'd be practicing on top of practice. And this team just had a passion. But better than that, they had a friendship. And I haven't seen Danny Ellison since we graduated from college. And just to see it and bring back old stories. And that really goes into, when you have good chemistry on a team, okay, it goes a long way. And I really think that was part of it. And then I also wanted to mention, I thought a couple of our highlights of getting to 18-0. Because we knew we were good enough to win the sectionals. The question is, were we good enough to be undefeated? And the game that sticks in my head, besides the 1-0 game, was the 2-1 game we were at Geneva. Now, at that time, we were something like 16 or 14-0, and we were getting pretty close. We had a 2-0 lead going into the 7th. And the leadoff hitter for Geneva gets a base hit and ends up getting a triple. and then scored on a sac fly. So the game's 2-1. Then they had another hit, and they ended up with first and third. And I'm telling you, this is a true story. This happened the way I'm telling you. They tried to pull off the double steal on us. And just as they did that, the runner that was on first broke to second. Well, we had an automatic with Coach Galinsky that once the runner runs, the shortstop takes the throw to second. So Pat happened to be breaking to second base. Sure enough, don't the batter hit the ball right towards the bag at second. So it was one of those ones where Pat catches the ground ball, steps on second. I reach out as far as I can, and we win the ball game 2-1. If we don't get the double play, it's a 2-2 game, and who knows if we end up undefeated. Okay, and the guys will tell you that that's the way it happened. The other highlight that I thought was fabulous on this team was the fact that if we did get down, which wasn't very often, there was never any panic on a team. And we've all in this room have all played sports. And the sign of a team is never to panic. This team never panicked. They played. And they played hard. And they had fun. And then the last thing that I thought was a key to us winning the sectionals after we won the regular season. I always felt Coach Galinsky was a player's coach. Larry and I were in the training room, and we were getting ready to start the sectionals. And we were talking, and Coach really trusted his seniors. And so he said, Larry, you think you're going to be able to pitch all 3 games? And Larry gave the answer, well, if there are no rainouts and there's enough spacing between the 3 games, I think I can do this. So then, me putting to put my 2 cents in, I says, well, what about Danny? Okay, I said, if you think Danny's not going to start a game, we should get Danny's bat in the lineup. Well, sure enough, who hits the big home run in the championship game? It's Danny, and this is a true story. And then the last thing that goes in all this was we talked about how our parents, neighbors, friends, grandparents, all of us had to get the Little League games, Babe Ruth games, American Legion games. And we have to all give a thanks for, our parents always being there for us. And I think that was a big thing because we got to know, I could walk in Bobby Cox's house and his mom and dad said, you hungry? Okay, and that's the way it was with everybody. And then we had a very special class. We had the underclassmen that were here, but I want everybody in this room, including the women, that was the class of 72, because I really think that was one special class. So everybody in the class of 72, stand up right now. Sandy, Connie, Val. And the last story I'm going to finish with involves my sister-in-law.
Oh, boy.
Coach Galinsky came up with this idea to have ball girls. And I don't know how he did it, okay? But by picking Rose and Holly, okay? He picked 2 girls that I didn't know if they knew there was 3 outs in the top of the first and 3 outs in the bottom of the first. Okay? And then the other thing he never used to worry about was when we rode that little peanut bus, he used to let Nick and Rose sit in the same seat. And I never figured that one out. But all in all, to all the other inductees, past, present, and future, it is so great to be a Waterloo athlete and to go on and see you all do well. And like I said, there's a lot of success in this room, and it was a fantastic run when we went through it, and it's so nice to see it. And I'm going to close by saying I really think the group that went through Waterloo Athletics in the 70s, and all the way through, it was a special run, because you look at a lot of the championships that were run in the 70s, and like I said, I'm probably biased because I was more around then. It may be the same today, but that group that went from like 1970 to 1980, that was one special run. Congratulations to all.
thank you all, and thank you inductees. They were very good speeches. We welcome you to the Hall of Fame, and again, we will be doing this again in October of 2015. I would like to thank Faith and Jean Tam again, Tim and Sue Lincoln, and my wife Laura for especially the work we had to do here before we started. Also Tom Galinsky for stuff that he sent me in the mail. And also one who did not make it that sent me quite a bit of stuff, and actually where we got the team picture, because your yearbook picture was very bad, folks. That was, we couldn't do anything with that picture. And David Byther sent us that picture, and he was supposed to be here, but I guess he didn't make it. But by the way, just a little sidelight, in his biography, I thought it would be nice for you to know, he is Lieutenant Colonel David Byther. He ran an infantry operation in Desert Storm and still works for the government, living in Dumfries, Virginia. So I thought as a sidelight, you'd want to know that. Again, thank you for coming. Drive safely. Please continue to support Waterloo Athletics and the Waterloo Hall of Fame. Thank you all.